Mike, I got to ask you real quick, and then we're going to get to the challenge. But I got to ask you, in terms of your skill set, 1 to 10, how good do you think you are? And then I have a question to follow. 1 to 10, give it to me. Let's go.
Well, I do like to be objective, but I also do like to bet on myself. But you know, we'll be generous here, and we'll go with a 10.
Okay, I'm going to knock you down 2 points
All right.
only because it was whatever you said. I was going to knock you down 2 points. And this is only because he's been doing this for 2 years. He's been talking to challenge cast members we haven't seen in years, road rulers we haven't seen in years. Like I said, they're getting a thrill when they talk to him now. Now they're like, "Hey, Mike, what's up? Oh my God, I heard about your interviews, your interview style." They're praising you before you even start. However, you are slacking, Mike, because you have not talked to the great Coral Gene Smith. And I need to know what the fuck is happening. We need Coral on your show.
Well, I'm gonna spill the tea. Coral and I've had a couple run-ins. She was supposed to be my 100th, which was back in the end of August, but I'm approaching my 150th, and 2 weeks ago we were scheduled. The whole thing, we had a 15-minute phone call 2 days before it was supposed to happen. We spoke hours before, and then I don't know. I still haven't heard back from her. She just didn't show up to our scheduled time. So I don't know. But what I can confirm for those listening, if you're wondering, like, if she'll do an all-star show, from speaking to her, that sounds like the ship has sailed. She told me that she turned down because they just don't pay enough. That's flat out. That's why she said she hasn't agreed to come on. Now I can't divulge what the amount was, but because that's personal stuff. But that is the roots of why we have yet to see her on an all-star show, and then why we haven't seen her on my show.
Well, then I've got to chew out Boona Murray or whoever and knock some notches off their belt too, because you pay Coral what Coral wants. She's so instrumental of that era, and for her not to be seen on the challenge again, if it's a physical thing, and she doesn't want to do it, I think Kara, as much as I like Kara Khan, she's like, yeah, I'm not physical. I don't want to do the challenge. But Coral was, and Coral did say famously, "I don't fight. I beat bitches up." I mean, I need Coral back on the show. This is what I need to happen.
Coral's just she's in a little bit of a different space. From talking to her, she still said that she's still Coral, but it's taken on a little bit of a different type of Coral these days. She's a mom now. She's working as a doula, so now she's helping other moms with their moms and delivering birth. So, she's got a lot on her hands. And
I guess I just wish in this streaming platform generation where it sounds like all the networks are just thriving for new shows, it makes me think somebody that monumental, fine, don't put her in a challenge because maybe that's a toxic environment. Fine, maybe not even a homecoming because you don't want to be the same Coral, and sometimes reality TV keeps you locked into that same personality, unfortunately. But I find it hard to believe, and this is not a knock on him whatsoever, when you look at that season, Back to New York, and Mike has had all the success as the Miz, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but there's a part of my heart that hurts a little that Coral isn't like, making that money. And I was looking at the Boona Murray website the other day, and I was like, oh, okay, they're producing Mike's show, his reality show with his wife. I mean, somebody at Boona Murray, make the call. Give us a show about doulas in San Francisco or wherever Coral's at. The thing is, I can see her trepidation possibly for not doing reality if you get locked into one edit, Give her something else. Let's let her grow. She was compelling even when she was sure her stern moments were fun to watch, but she was compelling when she was sweet. She was compelling when she was warm. She was compelling when she was vulnerable, nervous. I want to see it all. And I don't think I'm the only person who's raising their voice and sort of frustrated that if you watch that season live, like I did, you didn't because you were a baby. But if you watched it live, you could never blink your eyes and say, oh, yeah, I bet you in 10 years, 15 years, Mike the Miz is going to be a thing, and Coral is going to be, not that her life is not fabulous, but you would think you would see her, years and years ago, continuing on with something. But she's doing something great personal, so maybe that's just the route, So I equally understand.
I hear you, but I mean, I don't know this for fact, but maybe she just didn't want. Maybe she had the chance to potentially parlay. I'm sure if she kept doing challenges and staying there, like something just would have kept going, you know. But
Mm.
some people, like when you're in such a noisy setting for a while, sometimes people appreciate and enjoy like quietness and just normal after a while. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I agree. A trepidation I had with my career in radio is that we used to put in the 9 hours a week, 9 hours a day. Sorry, 9 hours of work in a week. It was insane. No sleeping, all the craziness. And I had no problem with that aspect of work ethic. Now that I'm in your generation, so to speak, and the digital people are winning, and the YouTubers and the TikTokers are winning. Some of them are like 19 years old. I have had a hard time competing at that level, not because of my work ethic, but because I don't like to be present all the time.
Mhm.
Like our interview, I like to let's get this interview in. We'll talk shit for 2 hours. We'll have fun, but I also like to cut it off, and I don't like accessibility to me. In order for me to be a good broadcaster and become better and better, I like to cut it off. And so I could totally see that. Like,
I'm with you.
why am I going to do real world all again, homecoming, and then they're going, the same things will start being drudged, brought back up. So, anyways, you make a lot of points, but this was an appreciation moment for the great Coral because I know a lot of people enjoyed her, and it's just somewhere's in my heart. I'm like, why don't we see her doing another project? But if it's in her best interest, then great.
I'm
But
trying, guys. I'm trying. Hopefully, I can.
we're counting on
This is
you.
the closest I ever came, so
Yeah,
third time might be the charm.
we're counting on you. She was a star. She always will be a star, no matter how loud and big personality. We're just interested, personality wise. We're just interested in like the new life and the motherhood and all that stuff. So Coral, come talk to somebody, and MTV, pay her.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's transition into the challenge. Oh, and I have a question for you a little bit later about the real world.
All right.
So TJ Lavin,